A voice sliced through the darkness. "Move off the vehicle now." And 2 shots from a rare Beretta 92 FS Vertec ripped into Ethan Stamos. The Charlotte real estate mogul, a beacon for the marginalized through Ethamos Properties, collapsed in his Range Rover autobiography, chest and arm ravaged, teetering on death. This wasn't a petty theft, it was a cold-blooded betrayal by those he called family. While Ethan clung to life in a coma, his wife Marisa and brother-in-law Rowan Spencer feigned devotion, their hospital visits veiling a $155,000 embezzlement plot through Bayfront Ventures. Whose voice haunted Ethan's shattered memory? How did a $20,000 payment to ex-con Peyton Morgan tie to the Beretta's deadly bark? From a rehab bed, Ethan unraveled a web of burner phones, fraudulent payrolls, and family deceit, culminating in a chilling accusation. "I remember the voice, Marisa. It was family." This true crime saga of greed, family betrayal, and attempted murder will seize you as Ethan declares, "It wasn't anger, it was calculation, pattern," exposing a conspiracy that nearly silenced him. What drove his kin to such treachery? The truth will haunt you. The hum of the Range Rover autobiography's engine filled the Charlotte night as Ethan Stamos, 52, navigated a quiet street, his mind on Ethamos Properties and services. His real estate empire had transformed lives, slum dwellers, homeless veterans, immigrants, all given hope through affordable housing and second chances. Tonight, a late meeting with a tenant lingered in his thoughts. Headlights flickered across a deserted parking lot, casting shadows. A figure emerged from the darkness, hood up, strides purposeful. Ethan's hand froze on the gear shift as a voice barked, "Move off the vehicle now!" Before he could react, a Beretta 92 FS Vertec flashed. 2 shots tore through the driver's window, one ripping his chest, another his arm. Pain seared, the world blurred. Ethan slumped, consciousness fading. Minutes later, a liquor store clerk, drawn by the idling SUV, approached. Glass littered the asphalt, the driver's door ajar. Ethan's labored breathing spurred a frantic 911 call at 9:27 p.m. Sirens wailed as paramedics swarmed, finding no wallet but $2,800 cash untouched under the seat, his phone intact. At a Charlotte hospital, doctors battled a collapsed lung and internal bleeding, placing Ethan in a medically induced coma. His odds were slim. Inspector Huel McCarthy, a 15-year veteran of the Charlotte Police Department, arrived at the scene. The lot's dim streetlights revealed no shell casings, a detail that gnawed at him. The Beretta's precision suggested intent, not a random robbery. Officers canvassed nearby businesses, but grainy security footage offered only vague outlines. No witnesses stepped forward, the night's silence swallowing clues. McCarthy's gaze lingered on the cash, the unbroken wedding band. "This wasn't about money," he muttered, his team noting the absence of defensive wounds. A targeted assault flickered in his mind, but who would strike a man known for rebuilding lives? In the hospital's sterile halls, Ethan's ventilator hissed rhythmically. Nurses monitored his fragile vitals, unaware of the storm brewing beyond the ICU. His legacy, apartments leased to struggling families, shortlets for displaced workers, loomed large in Charlotte's heart. Yet someone had aimed to erase him. McCarthy's notepad filled with questions. Why leave the cash? Why Ethan? The lot's stillness replayed in his mind, a puzzle missing its edges. As dawn broke, community whispers reached the hospital. A formerly homeless tenant Ethan had housed outside, clutching a lease agreement like a talisman. Ethan's name carried weight, his generosity a beacon. But the shooter's voice, clipped, local, commanding, echoed in the void of Ethan's coma. McCarthy's team sifted through the SUV's contents, finding vendor receipts from Ethamos Properties. The investigation's pulse quickened, a sense of deeper motives stirring. Someone close knew Ethan's routines, his late-night drives. The Beretta's report lingered, a warning of betrayal yet to be uncovered. Ethan Stamos lay motionless in the ICU, tubes snaking from his chest, a machine breathing for him. Outside, Marisa Stamos, his wife and Ethamos Properties financial manager, faced reporters, her voice steady. "We're hoping for quick recovery." Her poised grief masked a deeper calculation. Rowan Spencer, her brother, and the company's general manager slipped into the hospital late, signing in for a 15-minute visit. His prior robbery and assault conviction shadowed his brief presence, eyes avoiding nurses as he exited through a rear hallway. Their vigil seemed devoted, but cracks shimmered beneath. Charlotte's community rallied, their voices a chorus of gratitude. A single mother, Ethan, had left flowers. An immigrant tenant whispered prayers in the waiting room. Ethamos Properties wasn't just a business. It was salvation, leasing homes to those society forgot. Flashbacks painted Ethan's trust, hiring Rowan despite his past, empowering Marisa with financial reins. Their betrayal was unthinkable, yet the hospital's sterile air carried an unspoken tension. Inspector Huel McCarthy's investigation gained traction. The absence of Beretta shell casings and Ethan's untouched valuables, cash, phone, ring, pointed to a deliberate hit. By the second day, he reclassified the case as a targeted assault. Security footage from a nearby tire shop showed a hooded figure at 9:22 p.m., but the low resolution frustrated analysis. No witnesses emerged. Residents mistook gunshots for fireworks. McCarthy's team scoured the lot, finding no tire marks, no struggle. The shooter knew Ethan's habits, striking with surgical precision. Marisa's hospital routine drew scrutiny. She brought prayer cards, slept on waiting room couches, but her hushed phone calls in empty corridors sparked nurses' curiosity. Rowan's visits, always after dark, felt perfunctory, his signature scrawled in logs without a word to staff. McCarthy interviewed Ethamos employees, learning of Ethan's late-night vendor meetings, a routine that someone exploited. The cash under the seat, meant for suppliers, hinted at familiarity. An inside job. In a quiet moment, a nurse adjusted Ethan's IV, unaware his mind stirred in the coma's depths. The voice, "Move off the vehicle now," lurked, a fragment waiting to surface. Marisa's presence, once comforting, now carried a chill in memory. Community support flooded in, letters from tenants, a vigil outside Ethamos' office, but the hospital's walls held secrets. McCarthy's notepad grew dense. No defensive wounds, no casings, a ghost in the footage. He sensed a conspiracy, its roots tangled in Ethan's inner circle. As night fell, Marisa lingered by Ethan's bedside, her hand grazing his without warmth. Rowan's absence that evening felt deliberate, his brief visits a calculated mask. McCarthy stood in the lot, replaying the hooded figure's stride, the Beretta's echo. The investigation's weight pressed harder. Someone close had orchestrated this. Ethan's legacy, built on second chances, clashed with the betrayal brewing around him. The hospital's hum faded, leaving only the pulse of unanswered truths. Ethan stirred in the ICU, the ventilator's rhythm, a faint anchor to life. His chest and arm, scarred from Beretta 92 FS Vertec rounds, ached beneath bandages, but a sharper pain, a voice, cut through the haze. "Move off the vehicle now!" It was familiar, laced with Charlotte's cadence, yet its owner eluded him. Nurses adjusted monitors, noting his flickering eyelids. Marisa Stamos lingered nearby, her prayer cards neatly arranged, but her gaze lacked warmth, a stillness that chilled Ethan's fragmented memory. Rowan Spencer, her brother, appeared briefly, his footsteps quick, avoiding eye contact. His 15-minute visits felt like shadows passing through. Ethan's throat, raw from intubation, silenced his voice, but his mind raced. He grasped a notepad, scribbling jagged questions about his meds, then paused, etching Rowan in stark letters. Marisa's offer to convert their home for recovery met a firm refusal. Ethan chose a Charlotte rehabilitation facility, craving solitude to unravel the truth. Nurses whispered about his withdrawal, mistaking it for trauma. In truth, he was reconstructing a betrayal. Inspector Huel McCarthy visited, laying out the robbery theory. A missing wallet, a shattered window, no witnesses. Ethan's eyes met his, offering no reaction, but the voice echoed louder, a puzzle piece snapping into place. Marisa's presence that day, her hand grazing his without feeling, cemented his unease. Her hushed hallway calls, caught by a nurse's ear, hinted at secrets. Rowan's absence grew conspicuous, his late-night signatures in hospital logs a calculated act. Flashbacks flooded Ethan's mind. Hiring Rowan despite his robbery and assault past, trusting him with Ethamos Properties operations. The company's mission, housing the marginalized, had bound them, yet now felt like a stage for deception. Ethan's notepad grew dense, his hand trembling as he wrote. The community's support, letters piling up from tenants he'd saved, contrasted with the hospital's sterile isolation. A single mother's note thanked him for a lease. It steadied his resolve. McCarthy's investigation stalled, the grainy footage from a tire shop yielding only a hooded stride at 9:22 p.m. No shell casings, no tire marks, details that screamed precision. Ethan's silence during the inspector's visit masked a vow. He'd find the voice's owner. As night cloaked the hospital, he lay awake, the Beretta's echo merging with Rowan's clipped tone from staff meetings. The rehab facility awaited, a sanctuary for his hunt. Marisa's next visit loomed, her composed facade a challenge he'd soon confront. Ethan Stamos settled into the Charlotte rehabilitation facility, his body weak but mind razor-sharp. The Beretta's scars throbbed, but the voice, "Move off the vehicle now," drove him. Contacting Rogers Perry, his college friend and private attorney, Ethan launched a covert probe into Ethamos Properties. From a laptop, he scoured financial records, his fingers tracing vendor invoices. The truth emerged, $155,000 siphoned by Marisa through Bayfront Ventures, a fraudulent front, and ghost payrolls for ex-employees. Rowan's emailed summaries, riddled with fabricated hours, tied him to the scheme. Inspector Huel McCarthy, honoring Ethan's community stature, shared grainy security footage. Ethan studied the 9:22 p.m. frame, a hooded figure stride, Rowan's roll of shoulders, his clipped gait, igniting recognition. The voice from staff meetings, sharp and commanding, matched the shooter's. Phone records secured through Perry revealed a burner phone pinging a Charlotte tower at 9:18 p.m., linked to Rowan's device. Each clue tightened Ethan's grip on the conspiracy. Flashbacks revealed Ethan's oversight, questioning Marisa's delayed reconciliations, accepting her excuses about supplier rates. Now those lies have unraveled. Bayfront Ventures payments, funneled to ex-con Peyton Morgan, exposed a $20,000 deal. Morgan's firearms ties, whispered in Charlotte's underbelly, hinted at the Beretta's source. Ethan's notepad filled with cross-referenced data, his hand steadier. McCarthy's team, unaware of Ethan's findings, chased dead ends. The lot's silence, the Beretta's missing casings, pointed to an inside job, but leads fizzled. Ethan's investigation outpaced theirs, his real estate acumen turning forensic. He recalled tenant stories, families housed, dreams rebuilt, fueling his resolve. The community's faith, evident in vigil candles outside Ethamos' office, contrasted with Marisa's betrayal. Perry urged confidentiality, warning against premature police contact. Ethan complied, his focus surgical. He emailed Perry a dossier, vendor logs, phone data, footage notes, its subject line stark. Fraud plus betrayal plus murder attempt. The weight of Rowan's voice, once trusted, now a blade, sharpened his mission. Marisa's next hospital visit, her gentle touches, felt like a performance to Ethan's trained eye. As night fell, Ethan stared at the footage's frozen frame, Rowan's silhouette a ghost of loyalty. The rehab's quiet halls amplified his pulse. McCarthy's next call loomed, a chance to unveil the truth. The Beretta's echo, the community's hope, and Marisa's lies converged, pushing Ethan toward a reckoning. The Charlotte drainage canal gleamed under moonlight, its murky waters hiding a secret. Divers, guided by a GPS pin from a text exchange, plunged into the depths, their lights catching a glint, a Beretta 92 FS Vertec, its barrel etched with the scars of a near-fatal night. Inspector Huel McCarthy, overseeing the recovery, knew this weapon matched the wounds that nearly claimed Ethan Stamos, the real estate visionary behind Ethamos Properties and Services. The absence of shell casings at the crime scene now clicked, a deliberate choice, a conspiracy unraveling. In a Charlotte rehabilitation facility, Ethan pored over financial records, his laptop a lifeline. Guided by attorney Rogers Perry, he traced a $20,000 transfer from Marisa Stamos' account to Bayfront Ventures, a fraudulent front. The recipient, Peyton Morgan, an ex-con with ties to Charlotte's firearms black market, linked to Rowan Spencer, Ethamos' general manager. Texts between Rowan and Morgan, uncovered through Perry's legal pull, revealed the canal's coordinates, sent days before the shooting. A burner phone, pinging a tower at 9:18 p.m., during the attack, placed Rowan at the scene. Ethan's evidence, vendor logs, phone data, security footage, painted a damning picture. The footage's hooded figure, its stride unmistakably Rowan's, echoed the voice. "Move off the vehicle now." Ethan's call to McCarthy, his voice firm despite rehab's toll, named Rowan as the shooter, tying the $155,000 embezzlement to a motive, silencing Ethan's oversight. McCarthy's team, bolstered by the North Carolina Financial Crimes Task Force, launched surveillance, vans shadowing Marisa and Rowan's movements. Flashbacks revealed Rowan's growing defiance. Ethan's queries about vendor discrepancies had sparked tension, Rowan's emails masking fraud. Marisa's role, funneling funds through ghost payrolls, betrayed Ethan's trust in her bookkeeping. Ethamos Properties, a haven for Charlotte's marginalized, had been their target. Tenants' voices, families housed, veterans uplifted, echoed in Ethan's mind, their gratitude a stark contrast to the betrayal. A vigil's glow outside Ethamos' office fueled his resolve. McCarthy's warrants, secured discreetly, targeted Marisa and Rowan's bank records. The Beretta's recovery, its match confirmed, tightened the case. Ethan, confined to rehab, felt the investigation's momentum. Perry's caution to hold evidence close kept Ethan's findings guarded. The community's support, letters from tenants stacking up, clashed with the conspiracy's chill. Rowan's voice, Morgan's shadow, and Marisa's lies wove a net, drawing Ethan toward a confrontation. As dawn broke, McCarthy stood by the canal, the Beretta bagged as evidence. Ethan's dossier, a beacon of truth, propelled the probe. The surveillance vans hummed, their lenses trained on Rowan's apartment. Justice loomed, but Marisa's next move, her facade still intact, hung like a storm cloud over Charlotte's skyline. Marisa Stamos stepped into the Charlotte Rehabilitation Facility, a takeout bag from Ethamos Properties in hand, her smile a practiced mask. She'd reshaped the business. New supplier deals, shifted schedules, since the night a Beretta 92 FS Vertec nearly ended her husband, Ethan Stamos. Her visits, once frequent, now carried a calculated edge, her touch lacking warmth. Ethan, awaiting her, had orchestrated this moment, texting about a mental breakthrough to lure her. The $155,000 embezzlement through Bayfront Ventures, tied to her and Rowan Spencer, burned in his mind. Ethan greeted her, his voice soft, mirroring her warmth. They spoke of Ethamos, its mission to house Charlotte's forgotten. Marisa's updates, new leases, vendor shifts, felt like a power grab. Then Ethan's tone shifted. "I remember the voice, Marisa." It was family. Her smile faltered, eyes darting. 5 minutes later, she rushed out, past startled nurses. Outside, Inspector Huel McCarthy and plainclothes officers met her, badges gleaming as they detained her calmly. Across Charlotte, officers stormed Rowan's apartment. Ethan's brother-in-law, the voice behind "Move off the vehicle now," stood motionless as police seized 2 phones, a laptop, and notes with routing numbers. McCarthy's warrant, built on Ethan's dossier, exposed the conspiracy. Rowan's burner phone, the $20,000 to Peyton Morgan, the Beretta's canal recovery. The arrests, swift and precise, shattered the facade. Ethan sat in his room, the confrontation's echo heavy. Flashbacks traced his trust, Marisa's ledger entries, Rowan's vendor calls, their shared vision for Ethamos. Now, tenants' letters, gratitude from families housed, lined his wall, a lifeline against betrayal. Charlotte's community, vigils burning outside Ethamos' office, stood with him. The real estate empire, a beacon for the marginalized, had been their target, its funds siphoned to bury Ethan's scrutiny. McCarthy's call confirmed the detentions, news spreading through Charlotte's airwaves. Ethan's scars, a reminder of the Beretta's bite, ached less than the loss of family. Perry's counsel to let evidence lead had steered him true. The confrontation's rawness lingered, Marisa's fleeting panic, Rowan's silence. Ethan's resolve, forged in Charlotte's heart, turned to the trial ahead, where truth would face its final test. As evening settled, Ethan held a tenant's note, its words of thanks, a quiet strength. McCarthy's team pored over seized devices, the Beretta's match tightening the noose. Charlotte buzzed, the community's shock palpable. The courtroom loomed, a stage for justice where Ethan's evidence, forged in pain, would speak. His next steps, unwritten, pulsed with purpose, a vow to reclaim his legacy. The Mecklenburg County Superior Courtroom buzzed with tension, its wooden benches packed with Charlotte's curious. Assistant District Attorney Elliot Vance stood tall, his voice steady as he presented the case against Marisa Stamos and Rowan Spencer. The evidence, $155,000 embezzled through Bayfront Ventures, a burner phone pinging at 9:18 p.m., a Beretta 92 FS Vertec recovered from a canal, painted a chilling conspiracy. Ethan Stamos, walking with a cane, took the stand, his scars a silent testament to the night he nearly died. His testimony, clear and measured, recounted the voice. "Move off the vehicle now." It was Rowan's, unmistakable from Ethamos Properties staff meetings. Vance played an enhanced audio clip, the shooter's command echoing through the courtroom. Jurors shifted, one wiping tears, as the words landed like blows. Financial records, burner phone data, and text linking Rowan to Peyton Morgan unspooled the plot. A $20,000 payment to silence Ethan's scrutiny. Marisa, her composure fraying, denied involvement, claiming the funds were legitimate. Rowan, silent, leaned on counsel, his not guilty plea hollow against the evidence. Vance's closing, sharp and unrelenting, framed the betrayal. Family targeting Ethan's real estate empire, a lifeline for Charlotte's marginalized. Ethan's gaze met Marisa's, her eyes averted. Flashbacks traced their shared vision, housing tenants, uplifting communities, now tainted by greed. The community's presence, tenants filling the gallery, bolstered him. A single mother he'd housed clutched a lease, her nod a quiet strength. Inspector Huel McCarthy watched from the back, his investigation's fruits now public. The Beretta's match, the footage's hooded stride, sealed the case's weight. After 3 hours of deliberation, the jury returned. The foreman's voice cut through. Guilty on all counts, conspiracy to commit murder, aggravated assault, felony embezzlement. Marisa's face stiffened. Rowan stared ahead. Ethan exhaled, the verdict a step toward closure. Charlotte's air carried the news, shock rippling through Ethamos' tenants. The courtroom cleared, but Ethan lingered, the trial's echo fueling his resolve. Sentencing loomed, a final reckoning for the family he once trusted. A Charlotte tenant, once homeless, stood outside Ethamos Properties and Services, her lease a symbol of Ethan Stamos' legacy. News of Marisa Stamos and Rowan Spencer's convictions spread, Charlotte's heart pulsing with relief and sorrow. In the Mecklenburg County Superior Court, the judge's gavel fell. Marisa sentenced to 25 years, Rowan to 30, no parole until 2052. Their faces, blank as stone, betrayed no remorse. The Beretta 92, FS Vertec's Echo, the $155,000 embezzlement through Bayfront Ventures, and a $20,000 payment to Peyton Morgan had unraveled their conspiracy to bury Ethan. Ethan, stronger now, walked Ethamos's office, greeted by tenants, a veteran and immigrant family whose lives he'd rebuilt. Their gratitude, notes pinned to walls, anchored him. He recalled the voice, "Move off the vehicle now," and his confrontation. "I remember the voice, Marisa. It was family." The trial's audio clip had sealed their fate, but closure came slowly. Inspector Huel McCarthy met Ethan, sharing a quiet nod. "It wasn't anger," Ethan said. "It was calculation, a pattern." His real estate acumen turned forensic had saved him. Flashbacks juxtaposed trust, Marisa's ledgers, Rowan's vendor talks, with betrayal's sting. Ethamos Properties, a beacon for Charlotte's marginalized, stood firm. Tenants' vigils, candles lit during Ethan's coma, glowed in memory. The community's faith, unshaken, contrasted with the conspiracy's chill. McCarthy's evidence, burner phone, canal-recovered Beretta, ensured justice, but Ethan's scars, physical and emotional, lingered. Ethan visited a new property, signing a lease for a low-income family. Their smiles, a mirror of his mission, sparked renewal. Charlotte's skyline, vibrant against dusk, framed his resolve. The trial's weight, the confrontation's rawness, faded against his purpose, rebuilding lives, one lease at a time. Ethemos's future, forged in betrayal's fire, shone brighter, Ethan's steps steady as he walked toward tomorrow. Dark truths hide in plain sight. If this case gripped you, subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next story might be closer to home than you think.